let's jump into the 5 strategies I'm using to get the most out of ChatGPT 5. So real quick, before we get into exactly how to use ChatGPT 5 better, I need to give a little bit of background, which is a fundamental change in ChatGPT is that it's not just pick this model or this model or this model, 4.0 or 4.0 Mini Pro or O3 or whatever. The prompt that you use is going to dictate to ChatGPT which model it uses. So if you give a really detailed, specific prompt, it's going to operate a certain way. If you give a really vague, kind of lame prompt, it's going to operate in a different way. So model consolidation, they've taken the choice out of your hands and they're making the choice now. And they're using the system as a router to the different models, right? And because of this, I think a lot of us are seeing a gap in the value that ChatGPT provides because we're not prompting it to get the type of result that we want as we were used to it with 4.0 and O3 and models like that. Okay. So with that, the first trick is using trigger words. So if you want ChatGPT 5 to think like the O3 model, if we'll use this as an analogy, you need to use words like think deeply, or be extremely thorough, or double check your work, or this is critical to get right. These are sending triggers and signals to ChatGPT to say, hey, this is important. I got to spend a little more time and I have to think more deeply about this than if you just give me some simple one-shot thing, okay? Add these phrases to the end of a prompt and it'll really increase the quality of the output you'll get. And the second is to use the prompt optimizer. I'm showing it on the screen here, and this is at platform.openai.com. And what you want to do here is you paste in the prompt that you have, and it will optimize it to give you the best possible version of that. You can do this straight up in just regular old ChatGPT, but the prompt optimizer is built specifically for this purpose, and the prompt that you give it to optimize your prompt probably will be a little bit better than you do just freehand on your own, okay? So what this does, it eliminates vague language, improves structure, removes contradictions, which is a big thing in ChatGPT 5 especially, adds simplicity to terms, and converts minimal process into detailed checklists. You do have to use the API for this. It might cost a couple bucks, but especially if you're using something like a system prompt that you use over and over and over, this is a great way to get the most out of prompt engineering and prompt refinement right from the API. Okay, so the third one, all the way back to routing, and that the prompt that we're using is causing ChatGPT to pick the model that it uses. We want to be really, really specific, so it sends the signal to the model to pick the right model and treat this appropriately. And so having something like this, which is kind of lame, like help me write a blog post, it's about podcasting, really simple. It'll use the absolute most base model out there to save money and give you a response quicker. But if you said, write a 1,500-word blog post for the Castos website, the audience are new podcasters who haven't started a show yet, and the topic is best microphones under $100. This is even not a great prompt, right? It's just getting a lot more context. You know that the output between these two prompts is going to be vastly different. This has always been true, but especially with ChatGPT 5, giving as much possible context and information as you can is going to give you a better result in the end. Okay, and speaking of giving more detail, structuring prompts becomes really important, especially in custom GPTs or AI agents, the system prompts. Having XML-based prompts becomes something that you really want to consider. And so you might pair this with the prompt optimizer over here and say like, hey, I'm going to take my base prompt and I'm going to turn it into XML. And so just if you're not familiar, this comes from my podcasting time. XML is just a way to group pieces of information. And so the context here is wrapped in these context angle brackets. And so this is just telling ChatGPT in a really clear way, hey, the background information goes here. This is the context, this is the task, and this is the format. Okay, so you might write a prompt in just plain English, then stick it into ChatGPT or into the optimizer, and it will optimize it. And then you might say, great, format this in XML so that I can use it as a system prompt the most effective way. Just as a note, XML typically performs better than JSON, which is just another standard data and kind of content format. So use XML. And the last one I like a lot is having ChatGPT manage itself. And so you can have a process or a prompt, and then you can have it create a rubric or a grading system for itself and say, hey, write this blog post, it's about this. Before you give me the result, I want you to consider this and this and this. And as you're considering that, don't give me a response until you're confident that your response satisfies all of these points. So I do this a lot of times in separate windows. So I'll create a prompt, I'll get an output, and I'll take and put this in another window and say, hey, this is what you just gave me in this other chat. Please analyze this and improve it however you can. All we're talking about here is combining those two concepts to say, hey, this is what I want you to do. Before you give me a response, I want you to consider the response you're about to give on these points and make sure that it's the best possible thing you can give. All the way back to the first point here, using this would be a combination of these trigger words and really making sure that the prompt is very specific and kind of demanding to ensure that the model usage is as high as possible. Okay, so those are the 5 tricks to get the most out of ChatGPT 5 and how you should modify your prompting behavior to get the most out of these models. Because ChatGPT 5 is here to stay. They're probably going to turn 4.0 and 0.3 and all those older models off eventually. So you want to figure out how to get really good at this. ChatGPT 5 is absolutely better than 4.0 or 0.3. We just have to figure out how to use it properly. And so, as I promised, here's some backstory on why the change for this and what the OpenAI team themselves are saying about how to use it the best. So this is coming from 2 blog posts from the OpenAI team, one from August 7th and both from August 7th. So I'll link these in the show notes below, but these are just going into why the need for the model routing based on the prompt and how you can optimize your prompting behavior to get the most out of ChatGPT 5. I'll link both of these in the description below so you can read through them, but this is really where this is coming from. If you don't check out cookbook.openai.com every once in a while, I definitely would recommend it. This is the super nitty-gritty, like on the wire content from the OpenAI team and the ChatGPT team about the technical bits of why this model is different, what to expect, and how we can make it perform like we want. So from here, if you're like, Craig, this is great, I want more. I'm into AI. I want to make this a core part of what I do in my life, my business. I've created a free 30-day AI implementation roadmap that takes you from 0 to hero at work in your personal life with AI. Link in the description below. Drop your email in there. I'll send you an email every day for 30 days with tools and workflows and processes and prompts that you can use to take and level up your AI game. So that's it for me today. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, smash the bell, tell a friend about it. This is the 100 Days of AI. I hope you're enjoying, and we'll see you tomorrow.